Hello and welcome. This is Dan Explains, hosted by, you guessed it, Dan. You know, one of the biggest misconceptions I encounter in both the faith and scientific communities is that, at least to some extent, the two are mutually exclusive. That's wrong. Let me explain why. As a faithful Catholic, a molecular biologist, and a father, I find that I often have to walk a tightrope between the Christian and scientific worlds. In fact, no, that's wrong. There is no tightrope. It's more like a noose that people have been trying to hang each other with for almost 500 years, on both sides of the argument. Now, my goal in this video isn't to prove that to you, but it's a start. This is my very first video, and its name sums up the point and where I plan to go with my channel in one sentence. Proving is going to take a lot more videos. This video is to bring to light the stem of the issue and share with you how I realized I needed to look at the relationship between science and religion in a different way. One night, back when I was at university, I was walking back from class to the apartment I lived in at the time. It was a clear, cold winter night in New England, and I looked up at the stars and pondered the vastness of the universe. It suddenly reminded me of when someone told me that the whole universe was maybe about the size of the solar system. Beyond that, everything else was just an illusion. At the time, I had no response. He reasoned that God created the universe for us humans, and it didn't need to be big, for just us. Why would God waste his energy creating the rest of the universe? While I was still staring up at the stars, it suddenly dawned on me how dumb of a question that was. I mean, all Christians know that God is infinite. So, they should all know it's no more complicated for God to make a mote of dust than it is the vast universe that we live in. Even if it were just us here, why would he spare any expense? Why would God build a stage with props when it's no more difficult for him to make the whole thing for real, even if the whole thing was infinite? Any Christian watching this right now should be thinking to themselves, well, I guess that's obvious, isn't it? But is it? What feeling do you get when you hear about some new discovery or something that will probably never really impact anyone's lives here on Earth? Is it amazement in the incredible detail of the universe God created? Or is it a shrug of indifference? Many Christians shrug off the importance of the scientific discoveries because it doesn't seem to have much to do with faith or salvation. They may think to themselves that it doesn't matter because no atheist is going to convince them regardless of the argument that's used anyway. However, they are leaving their children wide open to have their faith wrecked by any atheist well studied in science, and schools today are plumb chock full of them. I suppose the realization I had was always something I knew in the back of my mind, but when you have an epiphany like that, it helps uproot your inbuilt preconceptions. It was a watershed moment. Up to that point, I had always ignored the perceived incompatibilities between science and faith. Now, this realization didn't suddenly give me all the answers, but what it did do was help me understand that the Bible and the Church weren't there to answer all the questions in the universe, but only to help us understand the story of humanity's relationship with God and what we should do if we want to grow closer to him. However, science, or the scientific method more precisely, does exclusively try to understand the universe. So any incompatibility I or anyone else perceived between science and faith was just that, a perception. It didn't mean one or the other was wrong, only that we don't fully understand or we're just missing a piece of the puzzle. And yes, I'm going to make a lot more videos plumbing the depths of this topic, so please stay tuned for that. From the faith perspective, this removes people's ability to use science as a weapon to attack your faith. The church's goal isn't to help you better understand the physical world around you, and the Bible isn't a science textbook. Although the church is probably the only reason the modern world today is modern, but that's a discussion for another video. The scientific method does have understanding the physical world as its goal. The issue arises when people think the two overlap. So for us to be able to look at the details, perhaps we need to back up and ask ourselves, what is the purpose of faith? And what is the purpose of science? You know, it's funny because those two words describe opposite things. Think about it. We say things like, take it on faith, or it's a scientific fact. Those two phrases are literally asking you to do the exact opposite things. So when you think about the meaning of those two words, you realize one is exclusively describing things that can't be proven, and the other is exclusively describing things that can be proven, at least to a high degree of certainty. From the perspective of a scientist, it helps to realize that it's pointless to waste your time to try and pick the Bible apart for accuracy. Proving something in the Bible could or could not have happened doesn't invalidate it. The church and the Bible convey ideas of faith. Again, a word that by its very definition is something that's scientifically untestable. Now I know what a lot of you are probably thinking. I get it, but what about the book of Genesis, bro? There seems to be a lot of things in there specifically relating to science, is there not? Well, I will definitely go into these details in future videos. If you like this video, please press the like button, subscribe to my channel, and ding the bell to get notified when I post new videos. Also, please support me on Patreon, link in the description. The more people who support me, the more time I can dedicate to making videos like this one. So, until next time, have a great week. Until the next video.